Oh hey, it's Wes, and today we are going to talk about... This isn't the right lens. The new Sony 15mm 1.4 G lens. All of a sudden, Sony dropped a whole bunch of ultra-wide APS-C lenses. We've got the 15, we've got the 11, and we've got the 10 to 20, and at the same time, Viltrox is coming out with their 16 1.4. Things are getting real crowded here. How does it all compare? Well, I've been trying these out for a few weeks and I'll let you know. Let's hit it, starting with, as always, the build quality. This lens is incredibly light. It's very plasticky, not as light and plasticky as the 11, but still very light and plasticky. We have our plastic lens hood. Now this isn't like the same kind of plastic feel that we would have in a lot of the new G Master lenses that have this really dense polycarbonate. This has a very hollow feel to it. The focus ring, it's not really rubber, it's just textured plastic. Everything's textured plastic here, including our aperture ring. If we look on the back here, we do have weather sealing around a metal lens mount. That's kind of the important stuff that we want. We have a really nice looking lens mount all together. It's all textured and angled and molded. We do have some weather sealing, but it is a much cheaper design. And that's very much on purpose, because number one, they don't want it to cost a crazy amount. Number two, they wanted to keep it small and light for APS-C and for vlogging, which they have. This lens pairs beautifully with the ZV-E10. Look how small these both are. It's fantastic. That's gonna give us a 7 out of 10 for build quality. Really solid, nice fit and finish, but not amazing. Handling and usability, this is where this lens really knocks it out of the park, because we have a clickable, declickable aperture ring. So you're doing video, you can be all smooth. If not, you can keep it clicky. There's a nice hard stop here between auto and f16, but I would still like a lock switch, which is a bit much to ask honestly on a lens this small, because we already have the custom function button and an autofocus manual focus switch. And obviously, as I said before, a big part about handling is that it is so small and light, it's like nothing. It's fantastic. They really went all out for this lens, for making it the most usable lens they could. The only knocks that I have is that A, you don't have the lockable switch, and B, this focus ring doesn't feel fantastic. It's only slightly dampened, it's very loose compared to, let's say, the one on the Viltrox, which is big and smooth. The 11 also doesn't feel fantastic. So that's gonna be a 9.5 out of 10. I feel like if I added up all the possible scores for handling and usability, it would be over 10. If you had all the features that this could possibly have, which is, you know, a nice big rubberized manual focus ring and a clickable, declickable, lockable aperture and a nicer lens hood, the lens would be too big and all of a sudden it wouldn't be winning the points for being so small. Anyway, moving on, what most people would say the most important thing is image quality. I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed because this is a G lens. This is one, it's not GM, but it's supposed to be kind of the best, especially for their APS-C lineup. They don't have GM lenses for APS-C. But at least my copy was, generally speaking, less sharp than the 11 1.8, a much cheaper, smaller, not G lens. So I don't know if I got a bad copy or not, but wide open, it's not fantastically sharp, whereas honestly, the 1.8 11mm lens is almost the same sharpness throughout its whole range. It's just a tiny bit less sharp wide open. The Viltrox, which is very close in spec to this because it's 13mm and also 1.4, is less sharp wide open, but it's more sharp once it's stopped down. So the 15 Sony is more consistent, but the Viltrox does best it from time to time. And I gotta talk about the distortion. These three Sony lenses, the reason they're so small is that Sony did not correct the distortion. I don't know, maybe they corrected it slightly, but they all three are just off the handle for distortion. I have never used a lens with this much distortion before. It is crazy. Now obviously we have software and in-camera processes to automatically correct that, but it's a lot. The Viltrox, however, has almost no distortion. If you're trying to correct the distortion, you're talking like 5 or 6% on the pincushion scale, whereas these ones, it is crazy out there. So I really have to stress that, because once you correct the distortion, you're losing a lot of your frame, you're changing your effective focal length, and you're softening the edges of your frame. So that's kind of a shame. But it's obvious why they did it. You cannot get this form factor while correcting for all that ultra-wide distortion. Chromatic aberration is pretty well controlled, not fantastic, but better than on the Viltrox. It's good, but not great. It's a 7 out of 10 for image quality. Image character. Not sure how much you would expect to get in image character out of an ultra-wide lens like this. But it is a 1.4, so when you get real close, yeah, you can blur out those backgrounds, but the bokeh isn't fantastic. It's not super smooth. We've got some onion ringing and spotting and so forth, and it cat's eyes like crazy as soon as you get just a little bit off center from the frame when it's wide open. Again, that's a price that we're paying for the size. The Viltrox, however, it barely cat's eyes at all. You get just a little bit of shape deformation up in the corners, but not actually a cat's eye or a football shape, because this is a very large lens for an APS-C camera. And so you're paying the price for that there, but you're getting a benefit. So overall, it's not amazing, but not distracting. It's decent for image character. I'm gonna give that a 7 out of 10 again. Autofocus. Once again, we come back to me being a little surprised with this lens, and maybe I have a bad copy, but every lens on this table outperformed this G lens for autofocus. I had a lot of slightly missed eye autofocus moments with this lens, especially wide open, whereas the 11-1.8 did not do that, the f4 10-20 did not do that, even the Viltrox did it a lot less than this G lens. Now in video, this lens is phenomenal. I mean, all of these lenses are phenomenal in video though. They've all got it on lock. They are smooth and reliable and fast. And when it comes to just general autofocus speed, especially in photo, all of them are instantaneous. I was trying to measure which one was faster, but my finger and my ability to move the camera could not task any of these lenses. They're all just instantaneous. And so, although it's phenomenal, I did not find it to be the most reliable of the bunch, so I have to give that an 8.5 out of 10. Fast, but not always perfect. And this is using it on the ZV-E10 with firmware 2.0, as well as the A7 IV, just for giggles. Value. Since this is a G lens from Sony, we're not expecting it to knock it out of the park here. Let's see how we do. We have this 15G at $750. Compared to full-frame lenses, that's not that much. But the 11-1.8 is $550, $200 less. We have the Sigma 16 1.4, very close, $450, almost half. And we have the old Sony 16 2.8 for $250, but that lens is absolute hot garbage. I used to have one. Now, if you want to go manual focus, TT Artisan has a 17mm 1.4 for $120. And I have to say, TT Artisan's APS-C lenses are amazing. This is the only one that I haven't tried, but if it's anything like the 35 and the 50, they are phenomenal lenses and they would compete very well, but they don't have autofocus. And then, of course, the elephant in the room, both by size and by significance, the Viltrox 13 1.4 is $430, less than that right now on the Indiegogo fundraiser. I'm not sure why they're fundraising it, because this company's made lots of lenses before. So overall, not the best price. We didn't expect that. It's a first-party lens. It is a 6.5 out of 10 for value. You get mostly what you pay for, but you can do very similar for a lot less money. Overall, that is a 46 out of 60. Not the strongest score. And honestly, if you're looking for an ultra-wide lens for Sony, this is a hard one to recommend because you're spending more and not getting a lot more out of it. Although I haven't released it yet, spoilers, I much prefer this 11-1.8 unless you're really looking to get some blurry backgrounds for video, which this will give you much more easily. but so will the Viltrox and the Sigma for a lot less money. Let me know what you think about this price versus performance down in the comments below. Am I going crazy? I don't know. We'll talk about that, and stick around because I've got more lenses to review. We've already done the Viltrox. We've got a Sony under our belt. We've got 2 more to go. So until next time, let's go take some ultra-wide photos. Overall, that is a 40...